Welcome to In the Kitchen with Dinah. Today we're making country apple coffee cake.
Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah. Someone's in the kitchen, I know. Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah. Gonna taste good, I know.
Well, welcome back to my kitchen. I'm Dinah. I'm so glad you're joining me. I'd love to show you how to make this country apple coffee cake. It goes together really quick. It's got a secret ingredient of canned biscuit dough, and you'd never know by the time you get done. So the first thing we need to do is get some apples, the star of the show. So I know I've used my apple peeler core slicer lots of times. So we're gonna anchor it by suction cup here to the counter. And we want these peeled cored and cut small. So I'm just using Gala apples today, and we need 1.5 cups. And Denver is waiting for an apple snack here. Go to your spot, pup. And another sticker. They had 8 stickers on these 3 apples, y'all. I even washed them. I can't even believe I can. All right. I bet, let's see what 2 apples does. If I need more, I will cut more. 2 apples did it last time. 1 second. And my oven's hot. You want to preheat your oven to 325. Now that they're all peeled, sliced, you just have to cut them into little pieces, which makes it super easy work. If there's a little apple skin on it, it's totally fine. You can just leave it. The other thing you're gonna need is an 8 or a 9-inch round cake pan. This makes one of the prettiest coffee cakes, and I don't know, I mean, you could easily use it for dessert. I don't know if it's truly a coffee cake, but everything goes with a cup of coffee. Oh yeah, 2 apples will be just fine. So again, we're going for 1.5 cups of chopped apples. And I'm just gonna use the rest of this apple, so. Those are kind of smaller apples too. Well, I'm using 2 cups of apples, but recipe calls for 1.5. I don't think it's gonna matter too much. So I have a 9-inch cake pan. I have put a piece of parchment in it, and then I've sprayed it. So the first thing we're gonna do after we've got all your apples ready, we're gonna put about half of them in the bottom, save about 1/2 cup for the top. It's fall, you probably have fresh apples in your area. I know here in Washington, it's a big deal to get all the fresh apples since we grow so many of them here in our state. All right, so we're gonna set this aside, crack open your biscuits. Always makes me nervous. You never know, I've had them explode everywhere before. So this recipe came from 1984, and I've made it for a really long time. And the original recipe called for a much smaller container of biscuit dough that just isn't made anymore. So I reworked it a little so it would work with the things that we can find at our grocery store now. So cut your biscuits in 1/6. So I'm going to cut it in half and then 1/3 each one. And you want to keep the little points, and I'll show you why in a second. So just take a minute and cut all these into 6 pieces and just make a little pile. All right, so we've got all our biscuits cut into 1/3. So then you want to take this and you want to set them up so the point side is up. So you want to go all the way around the outside, and then we'll just continue in. This makes the outside edge look really pretty. Okay, when you get to the end, you just kind of want to keep squishing them in. This is where I knew the smaller can of biscuits used to exist, because this really packs them in there, but it's so delicious. Stick one more right in there. All right, so you've got all these little pointy biscuits sitting up there. We're gonna set that aside and we're gonna make a sauce that goes on top. So in a small bowl, I've got 1 egg. I'm gonna do 1/3 cup of brown sugar. I'm gonna do a good heaping teaspoon of cinnamon. A little more. Splash of vanilla, my glug, just a little. And then we need some Caro syrup. We need 1/3 cup. So one of the tricks, I mean, Caro syrup is super sticky. So in order to get it out, I just use a little bit of spray my measuring cup, and then pour it in. 1/3 cup of Caro syrup. Now the sauce is gonna drain down and soak into all those little nooks, crannies between the biscuits and the apple. So good. All right, then I just take a little whisk, mix this up. Now for the secret ingredient, which is a little bit of whiskey. Now, we don't drink here, but when I started working at the bank I work at, everybody was giving each other airplane shots, so I bring them home and I cook with them. So we've got some Jack Daniels here. We're gonna add probably 2 teaspoons of it. It cooks off, but it really adds some delicious flavor to it. It is totally optional. You don't have to use it, but hey, it really works with this apple cinnamon recipe. All right, so we've got that all mixed. We're gonna set our sauce aside, bring our biscuit mixture back. You've got the 1/2 cup of apples left. What we're gonna do is sprinkle those on top so they're gonna fall into all the little mountains and valleys we made with the biscuits. And this is good hot or cold. I took it to church last weekend and it got devoured. All right. The next thing we want is pecans. You can use walnuts if you want, and these are also optional. I'm just gonna take a handful. So let's say 1/2 cup-ish, 1/3 to 1/2 cup. These are bigger chunks, so I'm gonna cut them a little smaller. They can get in all the mountains and valleys with the apples. All right, so then we're just gonna put it, sprinkle it on here. Doesn't that look so beautiful? One of the reasons for the parchment, it does get pretty gooey and juicy, but then I can lift it up and we'll gently scoot it onto like a nice serving plate, and then you can get all the apples from underneath. Okay, so we've got our apples on there, our pecans on there. I'm gonna take our magic sauce. We're just gonna pour it over. All right, so this puppy is ready to go into the oven. It's gonna cook for about 35 to 40 minutes at 325. All right, so this smells amazing and it looks just as beautiful. So as this is cooling, we're gonna make a quick glaze for the top, and you want 1/3 cup of powdered sugar. And a teeny bit of milk, talking 1 or 2 teaspoons. I just kind of eyeball it. Leave that out just in case. And a little splash of vanilla. And then just whisk this up quick. Oh, that smells so good. The apples and those pecans, wowzers. All right, and then I'm just gonna drizzle this real gently. Now, like I said, you could eat this hot or cold. I've had both and it's delicious. All right, so I'm gonna let this cool for a few minutes here before I take it out of the pan, and then we'll be back. We'll see you then. Well, welcome back. The cake cooled enough, I just picked the parchment right up out of my pan, and I set it on here, and I just shimmied the parchment underneath out really gently. Over here you can see some of the apples kind of shimmied out with it, but it's so gooey and delicious underneath, nobody's gonna care. And it is super warm still, but so delicious. So you could, like I said, you can serve this warm, you could probably put ice cream with it, or you could serve it cold, you could serve it with coffee. I mean, it is pretty universal, delicious cake. So, or is it a cake if it's made with biscuits?
I don't know. It's
All these things. Let's see if I can find the middle. I've got all these nuts to get through. Oh, yum. You can see it's almost kind of like, well, somebody asked if it was like pull-apart bread, and I'm like, no, we're gonna slice it, but you almost could kind of go after it in that way. So let's take a quick taste of this delicious, nutty yum. See all I don't know if you can see the apples on the bottom here. They are tender and delicious. Yum. That's really good, you guys.
Oh my gracious.
Love it. That was really delicious. I sure hope you guys try this country apple coffee cake. But it really, I mean, it could be eaten any time of the day. Let me just say that. And it was delicious warm, but it's super good cold too. So thanks for joining me today in my kitchen. I sure appreciate your views. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and turn the bell on for notifications. And don't forget to come back again. I've got more great recipes coming, and I'll see you on the next episode. Can I get my big 2-cupper?
Okay, well, you gotta go to your spot. That's important. You gotta be the good boy everybody thinks you are.
The hooch.
Well, it's a secret ingredient.
It is. After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, that's staying in.
Whoa! Hey! Yeah, go lay down. There's nobody out there.
Lay down, Boop.
Go lay down. Hang on.
So good.
So good.
Gonna taste good, I know.